Ladies and gentlemen, I think we're ready to start. So I want to give you a huge warm welcome to this evening. This is the annual general meeting, or the annual meeting rather, of the Frome residents of Frome Town Council, and we're organising on your behalf, and it's my honour as Mayor, Anita Collier, to introduce this meeting and to chair it this evening. So for those in the room, just a little bit of housekeeping, if I could. The emergency exit is in the rear corner of the room over here, and the assembly point is on the far side of the car park. There are toilets right at the end of the corridor here on the right-hand side, and there is another accessible toilet just to the right-hand side of the lift. We would be very grateful if people would put their phones on silent this evening, if that's possible. Thank you. Peter Wheelhouse, the town clerk, is here to provide any advice. Yay! Well-deserved applause. For those of you who don't know, Peter has been our deputy town clerk for a long, long time, and has been acting town clerk since Paul Wynne left us. And he was recently part of a large interview process. To be fair to everybody, we had a lot of very good, strong candidates, but Peter came out absolutely miles ahead of anyone. So welcome and well done, Peter, officially.
Thank you.
So as well as Peter doing the clerking and advising me, and Laura, Sian and Rachel will manage the questions board and no calamities, and the participant settings and the IT generally. This meeting will be recorded, and we are live streaming to our YouTube channel. So for those attending via Zoom, and we do have people online, I think, please use the yellow hand for questions. And for everyone else in the room, please ask, or for anyone else, ask questions through the Q&A board. Those of you in the room here, of course, just put up your hand if you have any questions. So tonight's agenda, apart from me welcoming you this evening, is very much about agreeing the last meeting, the minutes on the 2nd of April 2025, when Andy was the outgoing mayor, questions and comments from the public and councillors, a presentation from Rich Ackroyd on missing links. Welcome, Rich. Presentation from myself as my mayor activities. I'll take you through some of the things that I've been up to over the year. There'll be a debut of the Frome Community Woodland video, a video compilation celebrating Frome Town Council grant recipients in 2025-26. And finally, I will be presenting the Mayor's Civic Awards to some very worthy candidates. So hopefully it's going to be a light, very sociable, very informal meeting tonight. Please feel free to help yourselves to food, and there will be, I think, maybe wine afterwards. I know it's closed now, but maybe there might be a glass of wine available after the meeting as well, if you'd like to stay and chat. So first thing on the agenda is to agree the minutes of the last meeting. I take it councillors have read those. So unless there are any questions, are there any questions about those? Could I have a show of hands for somebody to propose those, please? Andy to propose, Philip to second. Show of hands. Good. That's 7 of us, 8 of us.
That's carried.
Yeah, good. Okay, thank you. Questions and comments from the public and councillors. So are there any questions not related to the agenda this evening yet, but any questions you might have at all about anything you'd like to raise at this meeting? Dawn.
Thank you. I thought I'd get the bad news out of the way first so that the rest of the meeting can be enjoyed. Unfortunately, today, the 1st of April Fusion Leisure Centre went into administration. It's on their website, so it's public knowledge now. They have made an arrangement for to stay open, so things shouldn't change for members or users of the facility for at least the next 3 months. And they're hoping in that time that they would get another contractor in The contract was unusual with Fusion because it was a lease rather than a contract with the council, but they're a charity, so they've gone into administration and the council will help just to maintain the facility for the users in the next 3 months. And after that, hopefully we'll have somebody even just to cover the contract temporarily, and maybe just get a full-time somebody in, maybe one of the other operators in other parts of Somerset. But that's just where we are now. Could you just keep an eye on the website, the Fusion Leisure Centre website? They have all the updates there. I'm not sure they're going to put anything out on social media just yet, but they probably would. But everything's up on their website as they make progress through the whole administration process.
Thank you very much, Dawn, for that update. Any other questions from the public or from councillors? All quiet on the Western Front. Okay, good. In that case, I'd like to invite Rich Ackroyd up to give us a presentation on missing links. Thank you, Rich.
Oh, it is now. Brilliant. Thanks. Okay, Frome's Missing Links. There are a couple of members here, Ruth and Chris, trustees, myself, Richard. There are 6 of us, and we all used to be Sustrans volunteers, Sustrans Sustainable Transport, in charge of the National Cycle Network, and we used to raise money for them and give it to them, and there's this big pot of money going one way and nothing much coming back. So a bunch of people got together and said, let's make our own charity. So in 2016, we became a charitable organisation, a CIO, which meant we could have a bank account, we could do our own things, we could make our own mind up whether we accepted donations or not, and the money didn't go anywhere else, we kept it. So let's hope this works. Oh yes, look at that. Since then, some great developments. This is a fantastic idea that was put together a few years ago. Those are all the old railway lines that run around Somerset. And the idea is that you could make a Somerset circle. So the lines that are full, without the gaps and the dots and everything, are already completed access paths, cycle paths, multi-use paths, whatever you want to call them. And if you think about it, there's not much to go. You could almost get 80 miles. I've missed off Shepton Mallet at the bottom, apologies, but Shepton has been doing lots of work recently to fill in the gaps. So keep that in mind. We're down there at the bottom right there, our little bit joining onto the Collier's Way, because the whole idea of Frome's Missing Links was to somehow join up with the Collier's Way and get a path going all the way through Frome where you didn't have to get on the road, or as little as possible. So that 2016 is when we started as a charity. And there's a map showing the gap. So the gap was about 2.5 miles when we started, and we've done quite a bit of work. We've only got a mile left. So let's see where we've got to. So the first phase 1, was completed before we were a charity, but it was still the volunteers doing most of the work. But we worked with Sustrans, and it came out of Sustainable Frome, and Sustrans together, worked together, and they're contractors and everything. So we got phase 1, which goes out of town, along the river, as far as Water's Edge, Waylands, that sort of way. And it's been a very popular and well-used path. So there it is. We got grants from Mendip District Council, Frome Town Council, Astor Housing, and Sustrans. So completed 2015, and it's been in use ever since. And that's where it got to. It got to that point there where there's a nice bike rack, which was donated by Mendip District Council. Phase 2, I think, is next. We finished in April 2025 was our grand opening. We finished it in March 2025. We're still doing lots of work on it. That was funds from various people. We sort of had a sponsor, somebody who said, a local person who wanted to be anonymous, and said, look, I've got £50,000. I want you to match fund that. So we were able to say, right, we've already got £25. We can, if anybody gives us a grant, we can match fund what they do up to 50 grand. So he, in the end, gave us 25 grand. On the back of that, we did a crowdfunder, which was about 30 grand in the end. We got something from Sport England, which was about £15,000, I think. And then Sustrans kind of got in touch and said, we got this money from Active Travel England. Do you want it? yeah, 50 grand. Somerset then dived in and said, we've got to spend 50 grand before, the end of April, the end of March. Can you spend it? Yeah. So we got about 140 grand's worth, which is what it cost us. We got hold of Wainwrights, who did the job for us, and it was very successful. Phase 3, it's kind of odd way round that we did. Phase 2 comes in from Great Elm, Hapsford Way, and comes back towards Frome. Phase 3 extends Phase 1 essentially, and I'm sure lots of you have been down there. You'll see what we've been up to. So let's look at some of these things in a bit more detail. Phase 2, I'm going to concentrate mostly on what we've done in Phase 2 and Phase 3. So when we broke through, we were waiting for about 10 years for somebody to give us permission to use a little strip of land, and we just needed that. That wasn't Network Rail. They gave us permission in 2021. We had a license, and we were able to fence off a section of that with Network Rail supervision at £500 a day. Chris will remember that. And we managed to get all these fences up in a week. And then we just needed that little bit there that you're looking at, where you see that track on the top left. And Grandad said, yes, you can do it. And he passed away without signing anything. Son said, no, bugger off, literally, you're not having anything. He died of a heart attack a few years later. And current grandson said, yeah, sure, no problem. So it was fantastic. Suddenly all systems go. So we did an awful lot of work on surfacing walkers, and our volunteers did a huge amount of work. You see there, I'm going to whiz through these slides. It required an awful lot of effort, cutting things down, putting things up, and you'll see the results if you've been up there. Incredible. The extras, as I call it, just because it's there doesn't mean to say we can leave it alone. We have to maintain it, because things happen, like trees fall down, ash dieback, we've taken out scores of trees up there, and you've got to chop them all up and take them away. Good for fires, open fires, I suppose, but it does cause a nuisance. We built lots of steps, we put signage up there. This is our Friday crew, so every Friday we do something out there. We made old picnic benches out of old concrete sleepers, a few more of those bike racks that we've put in, and various other bits and pieces. Sleeper benches, we've got rid of a few more concrete sleepers there underneath what is now tarmac. And so on. We've even got a couple of sheds up there that we've erected for storing tools and equipment and things. And so far, I'm tempting things. I won't say it, but they're still there. And you'll see Jeff there at the bottom, who's one of the founder members, who's still going strong. Think back to Watcombe Fields. That's what it looked like about 4 years, 5 years ago, 6 years ago. And on the right is pretty much what it looks like now. So it's a big difference. We did this in little dribs and drabs, really. We got some money from Aggregate Industries, and Mrs. Yeoman, Angela Yeoman, lent us her team, and we got about 150 metres. It cost us in total about £2,000 to do that, because they gave us all the materials and the men and the people and the equipment, so that was fantastic. And then a few years later, we were able to finish the path as it is now. And we put loads of trees in. Fundraising, I'm always getting asked, how do we fundraise? There's loads of ways. What I like about this Frome's Missing Links over the years is it really is a community effort. So we've had, that's the ukulele club giving us a cheque. That was, we've done some cycle cinema thing, I can't remember who that was. And we also get ingenious. So this is the guys, Friday crew, taking off scrap metal off the old railway. So the old sleeper, the rails themselves, you can sell them for scrap, and they're worth quite a bit. We've raised a few £1,000s by doing that. Heavy work, but rewarding. Various groups have given us money. That's a picture of Frome Wheelers. They came out with a big cheque and gave us £5,000, and you can see lots of other people there who've given us money. But it's not just about doing that. It's also about, there we go, thinking outside the box. So one of the things we thought about, a few people who were our regular volunteers said, we used to run these bike jumbles. I'm sure you've seen Emma down at the train station. And this place was full of bikes, but out there, they had 70, 80 bikes, because we got so many bikes, we had nowhere to store. And my garden was full of bikes, about 80, 90 bikes at one point, all covered in tarpaulin. So we were making £5 each time we did a bike jumble. Unbelievable. And we had a little group of people working in a garage every Tuesday morning. I don't know if Helen's here, but she was kind of in charge of that. And they would be repairing these things, putting them up for sale. So we thought, well, we need to do a bit more of this. So the idea was born to have Frome Community Bike Project. And the idea is they're set up as a sister charity. And if they make any money that they're not ploughing back into it, they give it to us. So last year they gave us £8,500, it says there. And it's in their constitution that that's what they're there for. So, and it's been a huge success. And I would recommend you use it if you haven't already. They've got bikes for hire now as well. So many ways to do fundraising. The Friday crew, I love working with the Friday crew. Since I retired, every Friday we do something interesting. Smashing bunch of people. If you fancy joining us, if you've got time on your hands, we're always looking for people to help out. We do all sorts of things, from planting trees, building walls, installing gates, stiles, cutting grass, chopping down trees, there's building sheds. There's lots of things that we do. So we've got a huge amount of different skills there as well. We also go around town. You might have seen us doing things over at Feltham Lane. We've been clearing that lane twice a year for the last, God knows how many years, 10, 15 years since I've been doing it. We were out at Nunny Catch a few weeks ago, clearing out that underpass. So we get around and we help out. We put a load of fencing up in Watcombe Fields, and they paid us for the privilege. They paid us £5,000. That's another way of raising money. He says to the next slide. We've also been helping out some of the other groups in Somerset because you might not be aware, there's Somerset is a hive of activity when it comes to active travel paths at the moment, particularly Shepton and Cheddar, because they've got this thing called the Strawberry Line, and the old Strawberry Line is the old railway line which we used to run all the way through to Wells from Shepton Mallet, and it's largely unbuilt on, so we're trying to reopen that as an active travel path. And this was an extension behind the Kings of Wessex School in Cheddar. So we put that bridge in, which was amazing. And quite a few of our volunteers went down and we helped out. It took 2 weeks to build the concrete either side of it and lower it down in bits. It's a kit bridge, cost about £50,000. So I learned a huge amount doing that. It was fantastic. What else? Oh yeah, Shepton Mallet. We put a bridge down there last year, having extended the path where the football club is, if those of you know it, sort of southwest Shepton. And there's also now in Shepton at Windsor Hill, if you know that, and Ham Hill, there's a new path which takes you out to Chute Lane, which will take you all the way up to the Rocky Garden Mountain Centre at Masbury. So lots going on, lots of different groups. We help them as well because when we need them, we ask for their help and they come this way. So you might have 50 people working on that for a week. And they do amazing things. But what's next? That's what you want to know. I am sure you do. Tell me if I'm going on too long. Where the circle is. All right, this is the bit in red is basically the bit that needs finishing. And it's just less than a mile. It's 1.3 kilometres or 0.85 or something of a mile. That's all we've got left to do. Everything else is done. If you're familiar with the path out to Watcombe Fields and so on, if you go to the end, there's tarmac all the way until you get to the Poplarwood and Selwood Manor on the left, and that big wall, which was part of the old canal that was never finished. So we need to get up that slope. So that's our next important thing to do. But it ties in really well with what the council have been doing in what I used to call the pony field, but the new community woodlands. You can already get a bike through there in 2 gates. There's 1 gate that you've got to lift over at the moment, so we're going to change that soon. But at the moment, you can't really cycle up that. Oh, sorry, the other bit, if I go back, the red line is going to go along the railway line. 3 bridges, so we've proved we can put bridges down on 1 tunnel. Sounds impossible, but it's not. It's doable. We just need a bit of money to do it, and importantly, Network Rail permission. We are actively engaged now with Network Rail. We're just about to hand over some money for the privilege of them issuing us a licence, which will allow them to do some feasibility work on our plans and allow us to walk with them on the route again, with their top brass, their top people. They got their structural engineers and so on. So I feel more confident about this than I have done in years that it's actually going to happen. So going up to Selwood Manor, that's that little corner there. People are always asking me, how are you going to get up there? Well, we're going to go to the right, my old bike there. So just to the right where those trees are, there's a gap there. We're going to go to the right there. We're going to go along and then up. So we've got to leave that big wall alone because all the structural engineers that we've talked to say, you don't want to touch that. That's not good. So we're going to move away from that. The new landowners, I met with the new landowners. I was a bit nervous. I thought, God, they're going to say no. They were fine with it. They kind of liked the idea. So that's even better. And it's that little bit there that you can see. So it will take a bit of structural engineering. We're going to have to come up from Jack's Lane to do it. So we're going to go, let's go up the slope. There we are. At the top, we'll have a new style to match the brand new ones that are there. Tuesday, I think they finished, on the other side of the railway. So we'd be coming up that slope on the right. You wouldn't have this thing, you have something you could get through on a bike or on a buggy or something, because we want disabled access as well. And then if you get to the top there, as you sort of approach the railway, it turns left. So we'd have to improve that surface. And then we want to go along. So we want the whole route to Hapsford to go along there. It was built, it's a double line railway, built as a double line, but it's only a single line. So there's actually loads and loads of room once you're on the railway to have a path. We'd have to have a fence all the way down. But to the left, that dark hole is part of the canal. And the canal's still there. So we want to scoop out that canal from Jack's Lane, push it towards me, and push all the rubble that we've got left down the slope to make it less of a steep slope. It's simple. It's doable. I'm going to finish in a minute, honest. Yeah, we've got 10, 15 different routes possibles that we've paid for to feasibility studies. None of them are as good as this, but anyway. The level crossing will stay, but at the moment, as I say, you can now get across there with a bike. If you lift it over that one stile, you can get through the other two. And come back to Friday Crew, what we've been doing the last couple of weeks is we put some new bike racks in there in the community woodland last week, and we've been rebuilding a wall, which is at the end, a dry stone wall. So we didn't have to take it down, really. It was already down, but we uncovered it, and we've been putting it back together. So that's Friday Crew. Right, and I'll finish now. All I've got to say is I'm not asking for any money. Unusually, I know, but we don't need any money at the moment. But when we get Network Rail permission, we're going to go lottery funding, aren't we? It'll be all points fundraising, because we'll have 2 years to get this done when we get the licence. So that's the plan. So, yep, don't need any money. There was one other thing I was going to say. Oh, yeah, if you want to join us, please do. That's what the bridge at Jack's Lane will look like. And it will run alongside the existing bridge. So loads of people ask me that. So that's what it'll look like. And then there'll be one over Colash Lane, and there'll be another one later on. But it's going to be great. I might even still be able to, on my Zimmer frame, I might be able to get across there. So if you'd like to join us, we don't ask for any money. You can become a member. You can just sign up. You don't have to pay. Some people pay a fee. I don't know how much it is even. But there is a website.
They gave us £10 a month donation.
Yeah, exactly. Or things in kind. We've had all sorts of things in kind. So that's all good. I'm going to finish there. But thanks, Anita, for inviting me. You've been an excellent mayor again.
Thank you very much.
And it's really nice to be back in Frome Town Council. And if there's any questions, you have to ask me some other time, I think.
Thank you very much. It was really informative. Thank you. And some great work too, so well done. Obviously, you're going to keep it up. This community woodland, is Rob introducing that, or will I just say it's coming on?
You could ask Rob to introduce it. I'm sure we'll have something to say.
Okay. This isn't quite as daunting as it looks, by the way. It's nowhere near as daunting as it looks. I just really want to take you through my story very, very briefly. I'm not going to spend too long on this, but I absolutely love what I do, and I think a lot of people have realized that. It's something that makes me very emotional just to think about it, to be honest. But I was a long time coming to this life. I moved to Frome in 1964. I've lived here for over 60 years. I've had a very varied career in banking and event management and advertising and all sorts of things. Local politics never entered my head. In fact, I was over 70 before I even thought about trying to stand for election. So for all those who are coming up to that sort of age, never lose hope. There's plenty of time yet to do what you want to do. During my 2 lots of administrations now, I've only got 1 more year to serve, will have completed then 8 years of service. And during the 7 years I've already done, I've been very lucky. I started off as deputy mayor, became mayor, and then became deputy leader, and then leader. I had a year's break, and then now, of course, this year, I'm able to be mayor properly, because my first attempt in 2021 was right in the beginning of lockdown. And I remember even when Mark handed over the chain to me, because I was Mark's deputy, it was all done at arm's length, down at the bottom of the steps, because we weren't allowed to do anything without social distancing. So that seems a very long time ago. And I spent the entire year virtually in a mask and on Zoom meetings. So there wasn't an awful lot going on. So this year, it's been absolutely fabulous to be able to take part in all the things I wanted to do. Sometimes I wish I had another year to go to fill in everything I want to do, but I'm not going to pretend it's not tiring to do this. I should be quite pleased to take a short break. Anyway, I've always been a very strong ambassador for Frome. And as I've said, it's a fabulous honour, and it's been an enormous pleasure for me to see and do so much in this incredible town. We are so lucky here, with all the kindness that people show in every respect and all the wonderful work that people do. But I have got a few thanks before I start. I've been very enough to achieve everything I wanted to achieve in this, but that's been mainly with the support of my partner. So Steve, thank you for all the support you've given me during this year, which has been amazing. I know I've often left you alone at night to go off to mayor's things, and a lot at weekends. So we've missed a lot, and that will be one of the nice things that we shall reclaim once this mayor year is over. But thank you. I want to say a big thank you to my councillor colleagues who allowed me to put myself up for election to have another crack at this, because it was a little bit of a half-hearted thing the first time around. And particular thanks to Mark, who's actually been my deputy this year and has stepped in for me on 2 or 3 occasions. So thank you, Mark, for helping me out on occasions. I'd also like to thank the staff here at the council. Peter and the staff have been amazingly supportive. And I have to say, particularly Rachel's team, I've had a lot of work with things like setting up videos, arranging radio interviews, helping with my mayor's column, with my quotes that I'm giving in the paper, and around events, and just making sure I'm in the right place at the right time and doing what I'm supposed to be doing. So thank you to all of you, but that doesn't decry the work that the rest of you have done, because you've all been amazing. I would like to thank all those I've visited this year for making me feel so welcome. You've been amazing. I've been very lucky in that, as I said at the beginning of the year, and this is what I learned from Mark when I was his deputy. If an opportunity comes up, say yes, do as much as you can. And I really have tried to do that. And I think I've been made to feel welcome wherever I've been. So I want to thank everybody that's hosted me over this time. I would also like to thank all the community groups. and especially all the volunteers who work for them, because without the volunteers, there would be nothing in this town. We are so lucky to have the people around us that we've got. And they give up their time for nothing, but do an extraordinary amount of work and keep a lot of community groups and charities going. So big thanks to them. And thanks also to the young people in the town. Now, you may remember at the beginning of my term of mayorship, I said I wanted to focus on children and young people. And I think those young people that I've met this year have really inspired me and lead me to believe that the future of Frome is in very good hands. We have some wonderful talent coming through the schools, and I think we've got a lot to be proud of with them. But talking of young people, I want to take you through my year as mayor, and the children seems like a very good way to give you a snapshot. I can't show you everything clearly, but I would like to give you a snapshot of some of the things I've been doing. I have seen a lot of children and young people, and some of these slides, you'll probably follow them through as I will, but I've been to Frome Youth Club on more than one occasion, on 2 or 3 occasions, and seen the work they've done. This year, for the first time, we held a Frome Youth Grants Committee, who've done some amazing work, and I'd like to thank them. They were extraordinary. I've been to see Emma Rice and her Wise Children and the productions that she's put on. Does an amazing amount of work in the town, and it's a wonderful place for people to go and be creative and show their creative side. I've been to Frome Birth Talk, who do a great deal of work in the town, and of course the Children's Festival, where I met Dumbo. And, that's just a snapshot, really. And things like the Children's Mental Health Forum that I used to go to a lot, the judging baby competitions, all sorts of things. So there's been quite a lot in that area. And then onto the schools. I visited St. Louis and Vallis and Oakfield, as well as Haysdown and Frome College, because I wanted to keep in touch with the schools and what they're doing. And again, the children are wonderful. In fact, every class I went into with the younger children, I said to them, would you like to wear the mayor's chain? And I was there for an extra half an hour while they all wanted to try it on. In education, Frome Community Ed, where Richard hosted me for the morning, and showed me around the IT area there now on the Frome Community Education setup. Frome Youth Choir, I didn't even know they existed before, and I've learned so much this year about the different groups that are in this town. But the youth choir was quite spectacular. I was really blown away. Critchell School graduation. And they do some incredible work too. There's some wonderful people at Critchell who manage those children so well. On the business front, there was a network gathering. This shop at the top of the picture there, I'm ashamed to say I can't remember the name of the shop, but I remember being asked if I would go and visit her because she'd been trading for 19 years. It was her anniversary, and she'd never seen a mayor. So I promised to go along, and she was absolutely charming. Lovely lady. And people like Morgus Druitt, people like the Kitchen House, and FSM solicitors who opened in the Westway. The next section that I visited was community groups and charities. And I was so lucky to see so many of these, but just a few of them. Open Storytellers, which is one of my favourite places to go. I remember going there when I was deputy mayor a long, long time ago, and actually leaving a little something for them in a time capsule that was put into the cellar. And it just said, with lots of love from the mayor. And they dug it up about a year ago, I think. They've had a look at it. Fair Frome, again, Frome Birth Talk, the Rotary Club, Field to Fork, and the Widows and Widowers Group. Excuse me. Plus, of course, the Key Centre and Purple Elephant and the Pod, and so many other places that cater for people of all ages and all interests. Supporting the arts. At the Kindness Festival, I was lucky enough to go to the lecture that Rob Hopkins gave and was able to introduce him. The museum, which put on a wonderful display of ladies' knickers and underwear, I seem to remember rightly. Balancing the Scales at the Merlin, just such a lovely film to watch. It was really quite moving, you know, to understand more about nature and why it works and how it works. It was great. And of course, places like the Black Swan and the Memorial Theatre and lots more. In open spaces, I was lucky enough to open the new bench in the park, which was quite fantastic. He did such a superb job of carving all those wonderful animals into that bench. It was brilliant. And then the Victoria Cafe, also in the park, Dissenters Cemetery, Frome Park Bowls Club, and the Frome Tennis Club. Plus, of course, Carnival Fun Day and all the other things that go on in the park and other places around town. So some fabulous places to be. And we're very lucky here to have so many green spaces to visit. Supporting the community. Frome Hospital and the Remembrance Day service. VE Day, VJ Day, hosting more. Which pictures am I looking at here? Oh yeah, this was at the hospital, and I think that picture in the centre. Sorry. Songs for the Memory, that's right. And I've been there a couple of times too. Lovely group to get involved with. And they do so much for people who are struggling with dementia and things like that, who love to go and sing all the old songs that they can remember, which is great. On the right-hand side, that was at Rossetti House with a child who had a book to display. It was just lovely things there. And of course, the Parkinson's groups, the dementia groups, Rossetti House, of course, I've mentioned. And then lots of openings, things to open. I was able to actually cut a couple of ribbons this year, which was rather nice. That's what mayors always do, isn't it? That's a ceremonial one, or I missed one. I beg your pardon, that's when I was, my fault. So that was Remembrance Service there, and the VE Day ceremony, and the VJ ceremony where I spoke in the church, plus hosting Merhut, where they came over for a visit here, one of our twin towns. And we also celebrated the 50th anniversary of our twinning with Chateau Gontier, and held a lovely service in St. John's talking to them. And then at the openings, sorry, Laura, I was one step ahead of you there. The new Frome Youth Centre, which opened just 2 or 3 weeks ago, officially. The Multicultural Festival, which Laura and Azima run, which is always the most charming day. I love it to bits, when we see all the nationalities in Frome come together to show us what they cook and what they wear and how they dress and all those sorts of things. It's just a fabulous day. We also had then the Window Wonderland Kindness Festival. So when the Kindness Festival opened, I was lucky enough to go to Rook Lane and open it along with Window Wonderland. So again, another Frome initiative, which is puts us on the map, really, and is another expression of all the wonderful things that we get involved in. Plus, I did open the scrap store and the kitchen house shop as well earlier in the year. But alongside all these things, which are enjoyable in themselves, but I have had a bit of fun along the way. At the top, I loved the Cobble Wobble. I don't know if many of you went this year, but it was a fabulous day. It was just great fun. The Pancake Dash, and I promised I wasn't going to run, So I didn't, but I did walk it. I went as fast as I could. In the top, that was a great one. That I helped out Wire at one of their fundraising events at the independent market, and they ran a fruit machine, a human fruit machine. And it was so much fun. I laughed all the way through it because we were three sitting in separate booths. I was put down on my seat and given a bowl under the table of an apple, orange, and banana, as we all were. And there was a little lever on the side that the children would pull, and it rang a bell. And when it pulled, we had to go, and then pick up a piece of fruit. And of course, there's the fruit, and we gave out lots of prizes. They all won a ticket or something, I can't remember, but they loved it, and so did we. So that was great fun. Presenting awards for the Frome Carnival. And last but not least, of course, which is the one thing I have probably been looking forward to throughout my entire year, which is Christmas on the Balcony. I think it's just one of the highlights of every mayor's year, and I loved it. I would have stayed up there for weeks if I could. It was just, it was just fantastic. So this is, I've shown you, I think, or talked about 60 odd of the over 150 engagements I've had this year. Not forgetting all these other events from the Frome Festival, the lamp lighting, the well dressing, Frome Pride, art exhibitions, and so much more. But it's all been fabulous. I've loved every minute, and I shall treasure the time I've been mayor. Thank you. So now we're going to have a couple of videos. And Rob, I wonder if you'd be kind enough to come and introduce the next video, would you?
Thanks, Anita. That was really inspiring. Lovely. Thanks, Richard. That was also very inspiring. So I'm going to introduce a video of another, hopefully, quite special thing that some of you will have been involved with, others will hopefully come and see. And when these things come along, it's nice to take stock and reflect on how special projects are when they've been achieved. So this is the community woodland, which was planted up in a very memorable week in early March. And we've got a video to celebrate this and basically reflect on, it's remarkable what a community can achieve when it all pulls together. We saw some of that from Rich's and also from Anita's, and this sort of follows that theme. It's the culmination of 3 years of work. And as I say, 1 week in March achieved so much. This is the first screening. And just a few thank yous. So firstly, a really big thank you to the owners of the site who have very generously gifted the space to us, the community, for 99 years without any rent payments. That's amazing. Thank you to the 600 people that came along to the site to help us plant. And that included 200 school children, even a nursery. Thank you everybody who was involved. Thank you to James, who's over here, who designed the planting plan and coordinated the fundraising from the community remembering Moko, to whom the woodland is dedicated. And thanks to the many, many people from Town Council who helped with arranging and publicising the planting event and led the welcoming and the planting sessions. Not too many more thank yous, but thank you to the rangers and the fabulous volunteers, coming back to volunteering and what a difference volunteers make to everything that we do. Absolutely fabulous, who came on the long journey preparing the site for months beforehand, which you'll see in the video. And then lastly, huge thanks to director Asha and narrator Mark, who are in their day job rangers, who very creatively, working many hours beyond the day job, expertly put this lovely heartwarming special commemoratory project and video together. So huge thanks to them. They're not here tonight, but yeah. And on that note, we'll see the video.
This is the story of how an inaccessible 4-acre parcel of land, fringed by river, road and railway, lost its brand as Bitey Horsefield and is being transformed into Frome Community Woodland. The owners had struggled for years with uninvited fly grazers and turned to FTC with an offer for the council to lease the land for 99 years, with no rent payments if it could be turned into a space for the community. Meanwhile, a local family were crowdfunding to raise money to create a memorial space for Moko Sellers, a Frome resident who lost her fight to cancer. When they approached the council with an idea, a partnership and a plan formed. The earliest steps involved ploughing the overgrown site so that these beautiful Shire horses could be brought in to seed the field with wildflower, using traditional methods, and to invite the community to watch and start to be involved in the site's development. The site was then entrusted to the ranger team to begin preparation for over 300 metres of new path and galvanising an army of volunteers to rid the site of decades of fly-tipped rubbish and barbed wire. Trees and thick bramble patches were removed to improve access to the site. Then, on a sunny, frosty morning in January, materials, machinery and volunteers were deployed to start work on the path. Battling mud and uneven ground, over 200 tonnes of material was moved across the site and the path took shape. Until the rain. It didn't stop for over a month, and we saw twice the average rainfall turn the field into an unworkable quagmire. Progress on the path halted, and breath was held to see if the site would dry in time for planting. While the heavens wet the land, the trees were delivered. 2,500 of 6 different species, chosen by Seed Landscape Design, headed by James Hamilton, family friend of Moko and crowdfund manager, who used his landscape design background to devise the planting plan, to include glades, rides and riverside glimpses. To start, the volunteer rangers once again showed their mettle and colour-coded 4,000 stakes in an hour and a half. These stakes were deployed by James and his team to site to mark where each tree would be planted and to divide the site into 142 10-metre squares to make the planting easier to coordinate. Monday, 2nd of March. The rain stopped and the volunteers arrived. Over 600 volunteers from various community groups, nurseries, schools, individuals, FTC staff and volunteer rangers to plant oak, hornbeam, field maple, goat willow, alder, black poplar and an additional 1,000 whips to create new hedgerow on the field boundaries. The Lorax visited. Some of the volunteers became too tunnel-visioned with their digging, and at week's end the whole site was planted. Alongside the bustling work, friends and family of Moko planted a wishing tree in memory of her, a silver birch, which was covered in cherished memories using seeded paper. As the paper disappears in the rain, the seeds will fall to the ground and grow into wild flowers. Each planted square was assigned a what 3 words coordinate, so that in the future people will be able to use them to find the trees they planted. As people dwelt on site, they were also asked their thoughts on future play installations to encourage the wood as a place to spend time and linger. A place now for peaceful reflection. This once overgrown, neglected site will now support the needs of climate and ecology. A new woodland to provide shelter, habitat and space for nature to thrive alongside the people of Frome, who can one day tell their grandchildren the story of its trees.
Thank you.
That's brilliant, Rob. Well done to you and the community. It's so good to see. It's the first time I've seen that video, so wonderful. Thank you. I think we're now going to see another short video just of the recipients of the youth panel of the Grants Committee. Is there someone who'd like to introduce that, or are we going to go straight into it? Go straight in, okay. I think that was wonderful. Didn't they do a great job, really? Because it's not an easy task deciding who's going to have grants, but I think they more than came up to the mark. So well done, all of them. We're now going to come to the part which I'm going to take great delight in, which is recognising and acknowledging just a handful of people. It's always hard to pick out a few people, but there are some people I would like to say an extra thank you to. So we're going to come on to the Civic Awards. So I've got 6 people that I'd like to acknowledge. And the first group, I've chosen a couple of people actually representing young children because that was my focus this year. And I think it's really important to acknowledge the work they do. So the first group to receive this Civic Award will be Purple Elephant for all the amazing work supporting children and their families. Well done, Mark. Excellent. Well done. So stay there a minute. Okay. So there's your certificate.
Lovely, thank you very much.
And some flowers to take that out with you. Do we want photos, Laura? Lucy?
Take some, I'll do it.
Okay. Thank you very much, Mark. Well done. And the next group I'd like to commend and make sure that they are recognised for their work with untiring support for children and adults with special needs, which is such an important category. So I'd like to give this, please, to the pod. If we have time. Well done. And the flowers. Okay, thank you. Well done. There are also a couple of groups who probably focus more on the older side of the population, but equally worthy. And one of those, of course, is somebody who has given unparalleled support to the British Legion and our veterans. So Jane Norris, if you'd like to come forward. Not at all.
Thank you.
Well, we're having a photo. Okay.
And thank you for your work.
So, 2 slightly different categories now, but this person has been quite amazing in her work in the theatre and her amazing creativity in showcasing the Merlin. So Claudia Pepler, would you like to come up and receive it? Very welcome. There you go. Thank you. Sorry, I skipped one there. I was talking about the slightly older generation, but I'd like to recognise this person because just behind the scenes, and I didn't even know this group existed until I came across them by accident. But this is a lady who has given years of service running the Widows and Widowers group in Frome. So Marilyn Burrows, please. Not at all. Can you come over manage with your... I'll carry them for you. Okay. Thank you, Mary. Very well done. And there is another award that I want to give out. And actually, this is the person I met on day one of being a mayor. And I went in to see him because I'd read his story in the paper that so gripped me about what a fantastic thing to do. And that is for launching and growing Safe Space Frome, which is an organisation that caters to create safe spaces for the LGBTQ community so that they know which venues they can go into, where they're going to be welcomed. And I think that was such a lovely thing to do. So please say thank you to Ted Prendergast. Lovely. Thank you very much. Well, there's one other person. It's not a civic award, but somebody who deserves my hugest thanks. And I wouldn't be where I am without her, because she manages my diary. She's helped me put this evening together. She helps me and steers me through the year in everything I have to do. So Laura, would you please come up? Thank you. Well, that is the end of the meeting now, so a huge thank you to you all for coming and for giving me the chance to talk through my year. I hope I've given you some insight into what it's like to be mayor for a year in this wonderful town. But thank you to all our presenters this evening and to those managing all our IT and the questions and all the administration that goes on. So it just remains me to say that hopefully we'll see as many of you as possible at all our future council meetings, and certainly this time next year at the next annual town meeting. Please help yourselves to food and drink, and thank you very much once again. Good night.
I think you surprised Laura because
Well, I hope so.
thanks to the town crier on the end.
Sorry?
It
Oh.
said on the end, thanks to the town crier. So
Well, I meant to do that. I did forget that.
Well, no, don't worry, because there was